It's just me this week because Jody's unavailable. So today, I wanted to again say if you're having suicidal thoughts or suicidal ideations, to please call or text 988. They are there 24/7, 365 days. They're there to help, talk, listen, refer you to resources, whatever, whatever it is you may need, to help you through this crisis or this time of you thinking that there is no other option. And I actually was just looking up their information again, and they had a little like flow chart, and it shows that when you call, you have several options to choose from. So, like Spanish speaking, or the gay, lesbian community, or your local resources, and they even actually had a specific section for veterans that are contemplating suicide, which I thought was really, really good because I'm sure there needs to be more specific information and counseling available for a veteran that may be contemplating suicide. So, it was really good information to see that. And also, it states that they receive ongoing resources and guidance from experts on, suicide prevention and things like that. So, again, it sounds like it's the best option if you need help right away. And you can't wait or don't want to hesitate or anything like that. It also was stating that if a call isn't answered within a certain time frame, that it rolls over to like the national um, um, place where they answer the phone. Sorry, my brain isn't working too good this morning, but anyway, so don't hang up. Don't give up. Don't think no one's going to answer because someone will answer. It's just, it may just take a little longer if they're slammed with phone calls or whatever may be going on. So please don't take your life. Don't think that that's the only option and that's your only choice. Please call and talk to someone, and just get information, just get a listening ear, before you make that final choice. So anyway, today's the 13th, Monday the 13th, and this will be airing on the 14th. Um, and of course, it's after the 8th, which was the 1 year mark since we've lost Adam. Um, and I just want to talk about that a little bit, and actually just to let everyone know that that day wasn't as horrible as I was afraid it was going to be. I think the dread and the thought of it was what had me concerned about what the day was going to be like. But it was actually very calm and very peaceful. It was just Mike and me. Um, and I'm okay with that. It was a Wednesday, so obviously people had to work and school and everything. So, um, I was okay with it just being the two of us because it was very calm. It was very quiet. We didn't leave the house that day. We just decided to stay home and just hole up and be at home. And um, it probably sounds crazy, but watch some really old movies like 1940s and 50s, like detective shows and black and white. But it was very calming and very comforting just to be home and be quiet and be still. Now at 8:45, I did look at the clock, and because that's the exact time that my phone rang with the call that changed everything, that turned our lives upside down, letting us know that Adam was gone and that that he had taken his life. So I did see that, and thoughts came and went and emotions came and went, and things like that, but it was nowhere near what I was dreading or thinking that it might be. Got lots of texts from people. All the family at one point or another texted. Our son David called to check on us to make sure we were doing okay. And, we asked him and he said he was doing okay. And um, everyone was kind of basically, we're trying to stay busy, keep our minds occupied and stuff like that. Got numerous texts from church members, fellow church members, pastor and his wife. And, it was all very comforting and very loving and very supportive. So it wasn't, again, as bad as I thought it was going to be. So I was very thankful thankful for that. Also on that day, a family member's one of my family members' family member had a friend who tried to take their life on that day, and my family member texted me and was telling me that her family member was going to go and see this person, and that my family member gave them the information about the podcast and the phone number for 988. And the reason I'm saying family member is because I don't have permission to speak about the person who tried to take their life, because I don't know them at all. I have, never met them, don't know anything about them. It's just through my family's family that we heard about this. But my family member was very glad that she had our podcast and the phone number 988 to share with her family member, to share with that person. Um, and her thoughts were that maybe if this person heard the aftermath of taking your own life, that maybe this person would not ever attempt that again. And thankfully, they weren't successful. They were in the hospital, and we're just now praying that when this person gets out, that they will get the help that they need and won't go through with again that final decision. So that was just something that happened on that day. Um and again, it was somewhat sad, but not like devastatingly sad, because again, I didn't know them at all. But anytime I hear about someone that tried to take their life, it just hurts my heart, because I know what we've been through, and it just makes me very sad. And I know that that it goes on every day. Like, I once before, I saw the statistics that someone commits suicide or attempts it every 11 minutes, and that's a lot. So I'm sure all day on the 8th there were people all over the world that were contemplating that, and maybe even tried, or maybe even were successful. I don't know, but it's just very sad to hear about that, and that people are continuing to do that. So anyway, I just wanted to share that that day wasn't as bad as I thought. So I thank everyone who was praying for us for that day, and that thought of us and prayed for us. And then of course, my sister, um it was only 2 months for her. So it was our year, and then it was only 2 months for her. So she has a long road. I know what she's facing and what she's dealing with, and what she's going through. Even though, her son didn't take his life, it's still, she lost a child. And it doesn't matter how old or how young, or how you lose a child, it's still devastating. And speaking of my sister, yesterday they actually had a celebration of life for my nephew. And I was able to go, and it was okay. It was There was a video, a slideshow of his pictures, and I just didn't want to see those. I just wasn't ready to watch that. But there were a lot of people there. It was I'm hoping it was comforting to my sister. I know it was comforting to me that, like, his second wife and his two of his children were there, and her parents were there. And I didn't know that her parents, his in-laws from his second marriage, really, really loved him and thought a lot of him. I didn't know that. So that was nice to see them there to celebrate. And his ex-wife was sharing some stuff, and just talking about how much his kids loved him and how much he loved his kids. And then my sister also was talking about, no matter what was going on in his life, he made sure that his kids were taken care of, and he, did what he was supposed to do as a father. So, those were good memories, and those were good thoughts. And so it was nice to see so many people there to support and remember, and things like that. So um that was, again, not as bad as I was thinking it might be. And even though my nephew and I weren't very close, I hadn't seen him in a while, but he's still my nephew. And I saw him grow up. So we were together every Thanksgiving and Christmas, and Easter, and just all the holidays. And my sister also kept both of my kids while I worked. She kept David for years, and then Adam for a short time, because the logistics didn't work out, and she wasn't able to keep him regularly, like, for me, because it was too far to drive. So anyway, so there's a lot of connection there. And, so I was glad that I was able to go, and I was glad that it wasn't, um, really, really sad where there was a lot of sobbing and things like that. Just pray for my sister because, like I said, I know what she's going through, and I don't know. I know she's not married or anything like that right now, so she doesn't have someone with her, day in and day out, like I have Mike, and then we can talk and go back and forth about things, and she doesn't have that, so I pray for her, regarding that as well, and that she's able to make it through um this year with with everything. So anyway, that was kind of the most that I have to talk about was the year. Like I said, I know in last podcast I said I don't know why we call it anniversary, because anniversaries are usually celebratory, and a happy occasion. So um I'm not really using the word anniversary, but the first year, I'm thankful that we made it through all the firsts. We made it through all the holidays, all the birthdays, um, and everything. And again, I know I mentioned before, coming up in February, is his youngest son's 21st birthday and Madison's 18th birthday. So those are going to be hard. Um, for me, I don't know how hard, I'm sure it will be hard on them knowing that, that their dad's not there to celebrate these huge milestones. And every time I think about any kind of milestone in their life, it makes me sad, because I just think about that he should be here to celebrate these things with his children. Um, but that cannot be changed. There's nothing that we can really do to change that. So I do have one more thought, and this is probably going to sound really crazy. Um, but since I'm trying to be transparent through this whole process and everything, I'm trying to be honest, and things that come into my head, and that may sound crazy or whatever, but one thought that I've had recently, in I'll look at his picture, and then sometimes it's like in my head I go like, it's almost like he never existed. And I know that sounds totally stupid and crazy, but and I know better, obviously. I mean, I gave birth to him, I saw him grow up, I saw him get married and have kids, and so I mean, I know he existed, but just I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to make it make sense to anybody, because it doesn't make sense in my own head. But again, I don't know how to say that, but I know that it's like, when you lose anyone in your life, a parent, a spouse, especially a child, it leaves a hole in your heart, and losing your child um leaves a huge hole in your heart. And I don't know if that's the feeling, that there's a hole that will never go away, that will never be filled, that will never be healed. I don't know if that's where this crazy thought's coming from. But anyway, like I said, I'm just trying to be totally transparent, honest, so that anyone else who may have gone through this feels that way or thinks that way or goes, gosh, that sounds crazy. And it still sounds crazy to me, but it's a feeling. It's a true feeling. It's a true emotion. And, I just am trying to share true emotions and true feelings. So, anyway, that's just a thought that I've had over the last week or so. And again, I know he's existed, obviously, but he did leave a huge hole in our lives, and mine and Mike's, and then in his children's, and his ex-wife, or his estranged wife, or his widow, or whatever name to call her. She will always be my daughter-in-law, no matter what. No matter what, she will always be my daughter-in-law, like a daughter to me. So to me, she will always be his wife. So, um, even though they were, in the process of getting divorced, she will always be his wife to me. So, anyway, I know it leaves a huge hole in their lives. And then in, in our son's life, as his brother, his only brother, his only sibling, and then to David's kids, their uncle that they had a good relationship with. So, anyway, yes, it leaves a huge hole, and it will always leave a huge hole. And I think just as years goes on, time goes on, you just kind of learn to live with it. And I don't know that it ever gets it never goes away, obviously, but I guess it just gets better as time goes on. But then, of course, when his birthday rolls around or something like that, it will, come back full force, I'm sure. Seeing people post stuff on Facebook about their children that they've lost when it comes around time for their birthday and things like that. They put stuff out there about they still miss them and miss them forever. So I know that that's going to happen, and I'm glad because I don't ever want to forget him. I don't ever want to stop talking about him. I don't ever want to, act like he doesn't exist or anything. So anyway, I didn't mean to end on such a somber note or sad note, but anyway, that's just a thought I've been having. So I just again wanted to share, and you try to be completely honest and open and transparent. And again, just please, 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 please call or text 988 if you're having suicidal thoughts or suicidal ideations. Even if you're able to hide it from everyone, like we felt like Adam did. Um, but you know how you feel inside. Don't keep it locked up inside. Don't hesitate. Don't feel shame. Don't feel embarrassment. Just reach out and get help. Um, I mean, not only do I not want to see a family go through this, another family, to go through the aftermath, but I don't want to see anyone else to take their life. That's not, you know, what God would have for you. That, don't do it. Please, please reach out and get help and seek help because there is help available. Um, and I know, again, in your state and where you're at, you may not see it, you may not recognize it, you may not want to see it, you may not want to admit what you're thinking, but please don't take your life. Please call or text 988 to get the help that you need. Um, and again, thank you everyone for listening. So, in wrapping everything up, I just want to encourage anyone who's listening, if you have any comments or questions or prayer requests, or if you want to share your story, but you want to remain anonymous, please let us know and we'll share your story and you can remain totally anonymous. You can obviously reach us through this podcast. You can leave a comment for us here. You can also reach us at hindsighthurts@mail.com if you want to send us an email. We also have Facebook, Spotify, and Instagram at Hindsight Hurts. And again, just want to thank everyone who's listening and just appreciate very much that you guys are listening to us. Thank you.